Hey, what's up, everybody? Rod J back again. Gonna do a little bit of a video tonight. Gonna do a little bit of a beer review and see what is going on this Friday night. So, thanks for swinging by to check out another video. And tonight, I'm actually gonna take a look at one from Southern Tier, and this is the rum barrel aged pumpkin. Let me flip the other camera over here so you guys can see it a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to be taking a look at tonight as I go through this little bit of a mini live review broadcast. And hopefully everybody's off to a great start to the weekend here. Going to go ahead and get the chat up in case people want to comment. Big shout out to everybody that has actually subscribed recently, and if it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that red button to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And of course, likes are always appreciated. Big thumbs up there showing the participation and everything. So this one is, of course, a pumpkin beer. It is the rum barrel aged pumpkin from Southern Tier out of New York. Ale brewed with pumpkins and aged in rum barrels. This is a 1 pint 0.9 ounce bottle, so 16.9 ounces on this baby. This one comes in with an ABV of 13.4. So 13.4 ABV. This is actually one I grabbed from the cellar. This is the 2018 edition. So we're going to take a look at it now, a year later. It says, are we a craft brewery? Are we a craft distillery? Yes and yes. So it made sense in our mind to create the Barrel House series. New beers inspired by barrel aging. So I heard a lot of good things about this one. Hadn't tried it until now, so really looking forward to seeing how it delivers. And it also says on the bottle here, kept like secret treasure in the depths of the Southern Tier Barrel House, rum barrel aged pumpkin has sat patiently, preparing for its discovery. Many months must pass before the Jolly Roger is raised, his precious cargo unloaded, gold in liquid form. Enjoy rum barrel aged pumpkin now or keep it hidden, standing upright in a dark, cool place until the time comes to declare anchors away. Cheers. Twice over. So that's what they put on the label there. There is no date that I actually see on here, although I know I'm good on the ABV, knowing it came out last year. But again, you like to see all the breweries actually have dates on their stuff. Let's get this baby open. Get a good amount of cannon smoke coming out off the opening there. Obviously on a high ABV like this, I'm going to use a snifter. Now on the pour, not even trying to smell right now, I'm getting a nice whiff of the aroma. Nice color on the beer. And got almost all of it in there. We'll leave it here for a little bit to get settled back in. And of course, there's your Southern Tier bottle cap, although the glare may be knocking it down a little bit. Pretty standard bottle cap they have for this one. Ooh, big booziness coming right out. Get that nice feel of the pumpkin. Not too much of an artificial type feel at all. Nice sweetness in there. It's got a little bit of that nutmeg type feel, a little bit of that allspice type feel, and of course you're getting some of that rum there as well. Really decent smelling beer as far as the taste on it. Ooh, very smooth, bringing some of the heat in the mouth. I'm getting a nice little bit of flavor. I almost get an essence of like a gingerbread type quality in the beer as well. Now color wise, it does have a nice pretty much orange color on it. The head was pretty much a tan head. It dissipated down, came out about a finger and a half, but like with other high ABV beers, dissipated rather quickly. Oh, you can feel the weight of this beer. Yeah, this is one you want to take your time and definitely enjoy. I do like the spice feel. Nice little play. I mentioned gingerbread. It's got a little bit of a ginger quality to it. carbonation is pretty smooth on the beer. So not feeling too much of the bubbles in the chest in that regard. But that rum, you don't escape the rum on this baby. Can feel it in the throat area, more so than anywhere else. As it slides down right in there, it pretty much stays there with the heat. Got some flavors there in the cheeks as well. But you do get a nice essence of the pumpkin still. But make no doubt about it, that rum makes itself present there too. Yeah, this would be a nice one to sit back and just relax and enjoy. I'm trying to think what I would want to have with this beer here. If I was having something of a dessert, something like maybe like a spice type cake or something like that might be good. If I was having an appetizer, I could have maybe some certain type of wings to try to accentuate the flavor. Something with maybe a little bit of a glaze on it. This wouldn't be too bad with a meaty substance as well. Something like your prime rib, if it has some rosemary or something like that on it, they can kind of play off of it. It's decent. Now, I've always liked Pumking, although from Southern Tier, Warlock has always been my favorite. Pumking has always been a nice addition to their line. And this one here with the rum, I am enjoying it. Definitely one I would say to check out if you have not had this. Again, it is a big beer, so be prepared. If you're not used to some of these bigger beers, it may knock you on your butt a little bit. Coming in at the, let's say 13.4% ABV. So as I sit here, I'm gonna let that warm a little bit. Last night on the show, I had the first few of these, and if you saw the community tab and we talked about over the week, I'd actually made some vodka gummies. Felt these a little bit this morning when I got up. I don't know if it was this or the beers I was drinking, but yeah, and I gave some of these to the wife to try earlier, and she felt a pretty good hit from vodka from them already. So the vodka gummies turned out well. Again, big shout out to Mr. for bringing up the idea. Shout out to Jamie White, who's there in the chat as well. Hope you're having a great Friday, Jamie. I hope you're ready for a great weekend. Apparently, we weren't the only people that didn't get a lot of trick-or-treaters last night. Apparently, there were a good amount of people that didn't get a lot of trick-or-treaters. So, the weather was just so crappy. But then it's so funny because today the weather would have been perfect for Halloween. Well, I mean, it would have been cold, but it would have been... It wasn't cloudy. It wasn't drabby. It was a good day that if you were going to go out and do it, this would be the day you wanted to do it. So it kind of sucks for the kids. They end up missing it there. But I still got like 4.5 bags of candy I get rid of. Hey, what's happening, Billy? Cheers, brother. Yeah, so I'm enjoying the vodka gummies that turned out well. It's amazing how the vodka got put into the gummies and how they swelled up. I may end up with a buzz real quick tonight, people. But it definitely works. Only problem is using your hands. It gets sticky real quick. Jamie says no trick-or-treaters here either. Like 30 degrees and super windy. Yeah, so we're supposed to have this crazy cold front coming through now. was watching the NBC News earlier tonight. You know, Al Roker was on there. And apparently we're right in that zone where the weather's supposed to drop like tomorrow, possibly down to like the 30s again. But overnight, it might even get down to close to 0. They're saying this is like some huge winter thing hitting or something. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'll be inside. I'm not going anywhere. Although, if you do go out tomorrow night and you're at the bar, get that extra hour if they turn the clocks back, right? So turn clocks back at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. That is that's some potent stuff there. So I don't know if you saw or not, Billy, but actually drinking the rum barreled Pumking. This is the 2018 edition that I'm drinking right now. So this one has a nice kick to it. Billy says we live in an agricultural coastal area, no street lights, no sidewalks. And yeah, your driveway 400 or 500 and 2,000. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, between houses. Went to Ruby Tuesday last night. Vampire drink, $1. $1 is a bargain. That's a Rod J deal right there. $1. Yeah, I don't know if you've had this or not, Billy, but it's got a nice kick. They do a pretty good job with Southern Tier. I'm usually pretty pleased at what they do. Hey, Beer House, cheers. From OC, California. Hey, I hope, obviously, if you're on here, you're probably safe right now, and hopefully all your family and friends are safe out there. Seeing some of the fires on California is just crazy. It's like I'm watching Dante's Peak or something. So hopefully everybody you know is in good shape out there, my friend. The new one is the vodka cranberry lemonade. Jamie's drinking a Natter Days 24-ounce, cheap but tastes good. LOL. I got no hate for Natter Day. I actually went through the summer a few times having Natter Days, and people wanted to kind of crap on it because it was Natty Light or whatever. But I thought it was a decent beer for what you got. I mean, it's what you went in with the expectation of. And for a nice beer, they give you a little bit of a hit, a little bit of a juicy or flavorful type flavor. If you want to have that, the Natter Days comes through very nicely. Big cheers to Foamy Head down in Texas, having a St. Arnold Cedrotis IPA. Cheers, cheers, cheers. And yep, all good. Sipping on a Sierra Nevada Celebration. Fresh hopped ale, bro. Cheers. You know, I almost picked up Celebration the last couple days because we have that out here now as well. So I was thinking about going out there to get that as a beer to try. Actually, they didn't, Billy. Founders didn't win the discrimination suit. Both parties, they actually settled, and it's actually sealed on what was handled in the founders' suit. So they didn't win it all by any means. They're trying to play like they didn't do anything, but it's still fuck founders all day for me. I wouldn't drink their stuff anymore. Jamie says it tastes a lot better than Natty Light. I love lemonade, so I'm a big fave of mine right now. LOL. Yeah, definitely. It tastes better than Natty Light. I mean, it's a different appeal they're going for. And for me, that doesn't actually like shandies as much. I can actually drink Natter Days with no problem. So, in fact, the only beer I've ever had them pour out in the bar has been the Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, just because I didn't like it at all, and I just wanted the glass that was going to be served in that you get to keep. Yeah, so Jamie stopped drinking Founders too. Yeah, I know a good amount of people that have stopped drinking Founders, and really the statement they kind of released was kind of a big bullshit statement anyway. When you actually read on kind of stuff and them trying not to accept any fault, and it's like, yeah, all this stuff was happening that we know about, even away from what happened to Tracy, and it was actually still stuff happening that your guys signed off on. So, Billy's actually typically buy local except for Genesee. Yeah, you're a big Genesee fan, which reminds me, have you had the Genesee Schwarzbier yet, Billy? Have you gotten that? Because I hear a lot of good things about the Genesee Schwarzbier that I may end up trying to pick it up if I happen to see it this weekend. Summer Shandy tastes bad compared to Natter Days, honestly. you get no disagreement from me there. I mean, it's all about the palate and the feel. Like I said, Summer Shandy is not one of my favorites. Probably my least favorite beer that I've actually had out there. I mean, I'll drink some more of the macros before I drink that. But again, some people like it. It does well. It makes sales. It's just not my cup of tea or my pint of beer, so to speak. Lagunitas gets most of my business lately, Beerhound says. You know, it's hard to find fault with anybody drinking Lagunitas just because if you look at the cost, what they charge you for the beer and the quality they put out, it's probably the best value you get for any beer if you want to have a beer of the various styles that they actually do. You know, the Brewers Association would say they're not craft beer because it doesn't meet their criteria, but what is it they're doing? And it's still crafted beer. So whether you follow the Brew Association or not is one thing, but you know, their stouts and their barley wines and the other things they come up with are solid beers, and you can put up against a lot of different breweries out there that are craft breweries. So I have no fault with the Lagunitas. I try to get more of the local stuff, and I try to get more of like the regional, so I love supporting the independent breweries. But yeah, you'll find Lagunitas in the house as well, down in the cellar, in the fridge somewhere. Once in a while, I jump right into it. Billy says, Saturdays is nice. Unfortunately, we don't get the special Genesee. We get the lager, the light, the ice, the cream ale, and the lemon shandy. Yeah, we get the Schwartz beer, like the Bach, if I go to Jungle Gyms. But most of the places I go to, they don't get a lot of specialties either. So they've got like, I guess, whoever has the main distribution or kind of does enough of it, they get those beers. Like Jungle Gyms is considered one of the top 5 places in the country to buy beer. So they get pretty much a good amount of stuff now. We actually get Modern Times there now, so I need to get some of their beer so I can do some reviews. We get L. Smith there now. I need to get some of that to get some reviews up. They're getting a good amount of beers from across the country. Genesee Cream Ale is freaking amazing. I got to drive 20 miles for it, but I still do some weekends. You know, I need to try the Genesee Cream Ale. I know Billy likes the Cream Ale as well. Joe from the Beer Patrol is a big fan of the Cream Ale, and I can actually get that in some places here, like in the I guess it's a 19-ounce can or whatever. So I need to pick that up so I can do a review on that beer. I think I'm going to put that on my list. Genesee was the only original Cream Ale and the only true American style beer. It won a lot of BJCP awards and Great American Beer Fest and World Cup. Yeah, it's got a good recognition behind it, I know. Beerhound asks, you seem very knowledgeable about beers. Are you a brewer or just a lot of experience? More a lot of experience. I've done some home brewing, Beerhound. I've brewed various things, different lagers and different ales previously, but more the experience has come from going out there and drinking, and I do a lot of reading and from the beer world. You know, I have different books to my side over here. Actually, is one of my stands for the other camera. It's like 7 different books there, all on beer. I'm always trying to put knowledge in my head. I almost feel like if you're going to do a beer channel and you want to bring it the proper way, the right way, you have to also feed that knowledge into you so you can deliver what you want to deliver to people. So I try to read about beer. If I'm not drinking beer, I'm reading, I'm studying. I've got like different sites where I'm following the news to see what's going on and taking place, and then hopefully provide a great experience for you guys that want to learn more about beer and think it's a great opportunity to do so. So, you know, when you guys have things about beer, you know, if I don't know it, I like to go back and find out stuff about it. I've done some of the videos talking about hops and home brewing, which I've been asked to do some more of those. I've got different videos talking about the different beer news. So I try to make it an all-encompassing beer channel, but thank you. I appreciate that. And then Billy says all BJCP competitions are blind tasting of several judges. Scores are averaged out. Right. Yeah, so definitely. And we've got the Kentucky Homebrewers Guild here, which I've actually met a few of the guys there that asked me to come out to some of the events and stuff. And I've also been asked if I wanted to kind of go through to be, you know, one of the judge type things to kind of go through that program. And I just don't really get into home brewing as much now because I got so much other stuff that I'm doing. If I was doing more of the home brewing, I would probably do that because I think it's a great experience. I've actually got the BJCP guide here. and I've got all the different guidelines and all that kind of stuff and all the different styles and classes, and I've got stuff here for Cicerone stuff, and I kind of self-teach on a lot of the things. I've always been like, even when I went to school, I always hate to have to follow the curriculum. I want to read at my own pace and move stuff ahead quickly. So a lot of times I'll print off the PDFs and teach myself a lot of the different things there. And it's all about learning and all about sharing. There's a lot of good people in the community. I've been fortunate going to some of these things now, kind of starting to build up a name, meeting some of the different distribution, meeting some of the different breweries, the sales guys that I've connected with that have kind of got me involved in other stuff. So it's all about getting out there and getting involved. Hey, Paul, cheers, brother. Absolutely. Walk your own path, right? So it's there's something, I don't know, something cool about that when you teach yourself to know how to do stuff. So although there are things, and you can't ever be afraid to ask for help. If you don't know something, definitely reach out. And that's one of the things I enjoy about the beer community is there's a lot of people that like to help each other out in the community. So there's some of the people that I can email with questions that are some of the beer companies. On the blog, I try to put different stuff as well. I need to actually email a few people so I can get some pieces done on them too. So I just love beer. I love it's fun. I like being around it. I like drinking it. Obviously, I like drinking it. So hopefully you guys enjoy when I share some of this stuff here. And then Billy said, yeah, anyone can get the free BJCP app. It gives SRM color scale, style, guidelines, free Google Play windows. Right, Apple, Android. It's all at your fingertips. I mean, I've even got the color wheel and all that stuff. And I've got the, not the color wheel, but the wheel of the aromas, which you should look for in each style and all that stuff, where it's kind of colorized and everything. Paul says, good thing we have so many know-it-alls we can contact. Yeah, right? The only problem is some of the people that say they're know-it-alls may not know nothing, but you'll never know because they'll act like they're a know-it-all. So, get another vodka gummy here. Yeah. But really, if you ever want to make the vodka gummies, Mister was right. All you got to do is get a glass dish, get the candy, put the candy in the dish, pour in the vodka. You're going to put it in the fridge about 5 to 7 days or so. Give it a stir day 2, day 3, day 5, whatever. And then pretty much they're chilled and all the alcohol gets absorbed into the gummy. And it's good to go. I like to try to maybe do this again with something else. He mentioned you can do gin. So if you like gin, it's a good way to do it. I might even try to do something like bourbon or a type of whiskey or something. Do you like moonshine, Everclear? Well, I don't know if anybody ever really likes Everclear, but we've been known to drink it, right? So, yeah, I actually, when I went to school at WVU, West Virginia University, Everclear was a common thing. So, I've actually drank Everclear. I haven't drank it in a while, and also we get moonshine. We go down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. A lot of times we get moonshine to go stay out of the cabins. But it's funny, story about Everclear. So back in college, I used to sell advertising for our university paper, and I had a lot of the bar circuit. So one of my owners that owned one of the bars, he was like, hey, I want you to try this real quick. I drove over to get him a print for an ad we were doing. So he gave me a shot, and it was real smooth or whatever. Basically, it was chilled Everclear. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? I got to go back over, to school, get this other stuff done, go back to work. And what I learned about Everclear is if you actually do it as a shot, it's actually pretty smooth. If you try to sip it, it burns your lips. But that's kind of interesting. But we used to have big parties. You take the Everclear, you would put it into the fruit, and then you'd eat the fruit there, and you would get the buzz off of that too. You had the big punch and grain type parties. They were lined pretty much trash cans and put all the stuff in there. So yeah, me and Everclear, we go back. We go back in the day together there. Billy says, yeah, I have the aromatics wheel and tasting wheel, although I've memorized them, as well as color scale. That also this applies to wine. Okay, as well as memorize that as well. Yeah, that's a lot of it, the memorization, right? To remember all of that. Because when we go for the testing, and I haven't done the testing with the BJCP, but knowing about the testing there and the testing with the Cicerone, a lot of it is memorizing, knowing what goes with what thing there. So I'm not overall. I'm kind of digging this Run Barrel King, Pumking, but I feel like it might be having the rum come through maybe a little too much. Although I do like rum, it feels like it just may be coming through a little too much. So for me, personally, I'm finishing the bottle and it's solid along those lines. I'm going to probably give it a 4 out of 5. I just feel like there's so much heat on it. And again, this is after a year sitting, and if drinking it fresh, it probably would have had a little bit more on it. But not that I'm saying lower the alcohol, but you definitely feel that a little bit more than I think might affect the enjoyment of the beer. And then Beer House said, "LOL, nice. That was a cool story. I love me some sweet moonshine sometimes." Yeah, and we go down to Tennessee, so we go to Gatlinburg, and you'll get like apple pie moonshine. You'll get blueberry moonshine. The apple pie, they put the cinnamon stick in the moonshine. They put the blueberries in for the other one. You get the cherry moonshine with the cherries in there. And they have some other different ones too. And it's when you go to Gatlinburg, again, you're in the Smokies, so you're staying in cabins for mostly anyone you go to, and most of them have hot tubs. So usually you're there in the hot tub drinking moonshine. If it's an outside hot tub, like most of the place, you're probably smoking a cigar, freaking 11 o'clock, midnight or whatever, and you're just out there chilling and relaxing. And Billy says, same with wine, have to know it. Not as hard as law school JD or when I manage securities. Law rules, symbols, which are optional, etc. Yeah. Yeah, that law school, my wife, she's an attorney, so when she had to study for the bars, I mean, that was some hardcore studying you had to know there. And that was like a 2.5 day test. Basically, we had to go to Columbus for 3 days for take the bar. While she was studying, guess where I was? I was out getting beer. I was out drinking. Because I wanted to give her private time to study. Oh, man. So what else is everybody else drinking tonight? Has anybody moved on to another beer? Anybody else drinking some stuff? Lagunitas, born yesterday, wet hop unfiltered IPA was good this year. Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. I didn't get this year's version, but I've had it. And I think on the channel, Beer Hound, I went to Lagunitas last year. I say Lagunitas. It's actually Lagunitas is how you're supposed to pronounce it, but sometimes I say Lagunitas. In Chicago, where I know a couple people up there, had a great little tour. I think I shot a video when I was there as well, so that might be on the channel. But if you ever get a chance, obviously they have it in Petaluma, and they have it in Chicago, it's the other location. Huge place, great time, great people. One of the scenes from Batman was actually shot there, the one with Christian Bale. The one that the Joker was in, when the Joker kind of comes in to like the gang area, was shot in the one in Chicago. Billy says, when we were in high school, we used to go to a friend of mine's, used to go to his uncle's farm in West Virginia. This guy said, hey boys, want to buy some moonshine? He told us about it. Yeah. If you went to West Virginia, chances are, yeah, there was probably some moonshine. There might have been some other stuff being offered if you're in West Virginia, you know what I mean? I mean, because there's another cash crop out of West Virginia that's not really statistically tracked as much as it can be, but there's a cash crop there that's pretty popular. Pulling on some Lagunitas brown sugar a lot lately. Yeah, that's been out, and people have been getting that, and that's got a nice little feel to it. My favorite Lagunitas, well, one of my favorite Lagunitas beers will come out here again in February, and that's the Undercover Shutdown. And I don't know if you ever heard or not, Beer, and I've told the story many a time because of me knowing the Lagunitas guys. They told me how that beer came to be. And they literally were shut down for like a week or two because somebody at the factory had tried to sell an undercover cop something illegally, and they were shut down because of it. So it's kind of funny that it was actually based on the actual thing. And if you ever notice on the bottles where they have the phone numbers do go to Lagunitas. So if you ever call, you want to ever give any feedback, you can call that number and it will take you to the Lagunitas office. Have a free taster, LOL. Out of the back of his pickup, he pours some on the ground and set it on fire. If it burns blue, it's good. That sounds like the old school Dr. Peppers we used to do with the 151. The flaming Dr. Peppers. Remember those? Light those up and it would be blue. Yep, Shutdown Ale is my absolute favorite by Lagunitas, saying so great of value. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was funny when they were telling the story there. We were at a beer fest here in Cincinnati, and we were going through all that stuff, and it was like pretty cool. So, and then they got so many other good beers they're actually putting out. And it's like, people were kind of saying, well, they're under Heineken and stuff now, but they're actually under Heineken Europe. And if you understand what they were trying to do, it wasn't for expansion here in the USA. Now they're getting into markets overseas, and that's why the Heineken International was important for them to go under. Ooh, Billy had some Shiraz from Australia earlier today, having Dr. Pepper. Shiraz is actually one of my favorite beer styles to actually enjoy, so nice call on that. I actually have a chart somewhere around here too. Maybe I'll post it in the community tab that will basically tell you by what style of beer you prefer, what kind of wine you would prefer as well. And it's funny because I think Shiraz was matched up against stouts for the beer styles, and I enjoy both of them. Like pretty much for me, the Belgians are number one, but behind them are like stouts and then IPAs. So it's nice to see that kind of connection there. Ballast Point Fathom IPA, nice. It's a good one. Foamy Head, have you had the Ballast Point Manta Ray, their double IPA? That's one of my favorite ones from them as well. And Pierre said, I caught wind from distributor shutdown and will be coming out this. Oh, so they're bringing it up earlier this year. Okay. Last year, when it used to come out like around February or January, so they must have moved it up on their calendar. Yeah, Shiraz wine. Shiraz wine is fine and solid. I do enjoy it. It's funny, last weekend I actually watched Eddie Murphy's new movie on Dolomite. Dolomite was a legend from back in the 70s on the acting. But Dolomite, when he created the Dolomite character, the actual person, Rudy Ray Moore, he talks in rhymes. And ever watching Eddie Murphy's movie, he's like, I want to start talking in rhymes all the time when I say stuff. I'm kind of stuck in my head right now. It's a good movie, by the way. If you get a chance to watch that on Netflix, My Name is Dolomite, or They Call Me Dolomite, you definitely should check it out. Eddie Murphy came back with a vengeance with that movie. I don't know if I should be knocking out these vodka gummies like this. So what else is anybody drinking out there? Anybody got any big plans for the weekend? Got a big football game. Anybody college football fans? We got LSU and Alabama this weekend. That is going to be a nice battle to watch tomorrow. Oh, okay, cool. What did you think of the Manta Ray, Foamy? Did you like it? I also like the Ballast Point Sculpin. Of all the Sculpin and their variants, I think the base Sculpin is probably my favorite. I don't even know if they really needed the other variants. I know they were trying to do some different stuff with it, but I just feel like the base Sculpin was the best one they had there. Oh, last night, if you didn't see the show, we were talking about one of the things I brought up is I read a piece about Goose Island, and apparently Bourbon County Stout may be in more areas this year, they were saying. So I don't know if they're doing more of a mass production on it, that more people may have an opportunity to get it. So keep an eye out for that when that gets released here the day after Thanksgiving. Baltimore Ravens versus the Cheatriots. I like that one. The Treachiots. Yeah, we talked some football over on Allen's Beer and Gaming channel earlier this week, and I'm trying to think who my upset picks for tomorrow were. He actually wrote them down. I can't remember who they were now, but I just like I'm more college football, so I like watching it on the college football. Oh, four and a half caps. Yeah, so you dug it definitely. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. The Manta Ray. Also, if you like Imperial Red Ales, if you get Great Lakes Brewery in your area, the Nosferatu is a great one to pick up as an Imperial Red Ale. They do a good job with that beer. So I think it's like in a 4-pack, but it's pretty decent. But that's what they're seasonal for right now. Great Lakes is just like a solid, stable brewery. Like they always make good things that, I don't know, I feel like people can maybe underestimate them sometimes. But their stuff is just all quality every time you have something from them. Actually got a little bit of the NBA on right now. I don't know if anybody's an NBA fan out there. I've got the Houston Rockets and the Brooklyn Nets playing. Surprisingly, Brooklyn's actually up on Houston by 10 points with 34 seconds left. Hey, Chris, off the 10th. What's going on, you sexy motherfucker? What's up, Gilbert? Cheers, buddy. What's happening? Gilbert, hashtag #1 Green Bay Packers fan. Actually, sipping on the Rum Barrel King. Let me switch to the other camera here so you can see it better. See, we're going multi-camera nowadays. We got multi-angles in play. So the Rum Barrel Aged Pumking right there. It's a little boozy. Go Pack, go baby. Yeah, they didn't put a date on this one either, but knowing when I got it and knowing the strength of it, I knew it was alright, but I just don't understand how so many breweries don't put dates on stuff. Like, you need to always put dates on stuff. I feel like it should be a part of the laws for selling beer. 2019, loved it. Your favorite this year? All right. I thought this one was good, but I don't know. I felt like the rum started to take over a little too much as you drank through it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on this one for my personal satisfaction. But it's good. It's solid. I mean, Southern Tier knows what they're doing. You know, it's funny talking about Untapped. There was an article I read the other day, and like how some of the breweries hate Untapped just because of how people will rate stuff on there. And I think they're looking at it thinking people are rating stuff versus a style, or they want people to rate for stuff, but people are rating for their own personal taste on things. But it was an interesting article about how, you know, some of the breweries just weren't fans of Untapped. You know, it's kind of like, you know, people want to keep a track record or whatever, or share what they're thinking about certain beers, but, you know, that's the world that we live in. Go Ravens, pounded Cheatry, especially Tyranny Brady. We got Gilbert and Chris saying cheers to each other. So Gilbert, what are you drinking tonight? Chris, what are you drinking tonight? What is your pint of pleasure? These vodka gummies are packed. Between the vodka and the rum working together, it's getting crazy. And Untapped is stupid. The people Get free stuff from breweries of new seasonal releases. They give out swag for ratings. I wouldn't call it still. I like Untapped. I think Untapped is one of the greater beer apps that you can actually use. It depends on how you're using it, but I haven't gotten anything free from Untapped from the stuff that I've rated, and I've rated thousands of beers on there. I've gotten stuff from breweries that I've actually met or have actually came to my website and saw stuff and asked me to try things, but I think Untapped, I think it's a great app. Gilbert says Huss Sutton beer. Okay, so what is that one then? And then Chris said he just reviewed the Killer Cupcake Panda from Flying Monkeys. Haven't seen that one down here yet. Let me guess, it's probably a colorful, well-designed can with Flying Monkeys, right? Because they put a lot of shit on their can. Next Untapped has education for the raters, but most idiots compare everything to IPAs. Well, I mean, yeah, there's no, I guess you can say, rule book on how you use Untapped, and people may compare it to the IPA or whatever. I mean, you don't know. That's why you can't take all the ratings without a grain of salt, so to speak. So people are using it for different things. Like for me, I'll track the stuff that I'm feeling from when I do stuff like on the videos, and I put on there what my personal rating may be for something, but it's based off of what I actually liked about it or enjoyed about it. And for me, if I want to try that again or something along those lines. But ratings, like opinions, like assholes, everybody's got one. And, if it's not yours, it stinks, right? So you just got to understand that when you're dealing with those type of things. I think some of the breweries get upset for something they don't have to get upset over. It's just like if the same people were sharing the same stuff on Facebook or Instagram or one of the other sites. It's just a social media tool, but it's based around beer. And I swiped from Untapped from the breweries at Tap Takeover Night at their own brewery. Free swipe given by craft breweries for raters and Untapped. Well, yeah, I mean, if they're giving stuff to people and they're asking to go rate it on Untapped, then yeah, that's some issue there for sure. I mean, it shouldn't be that way. It's kind of like you go to a pint night, you buy a pint and you get like a pint glass or something. That's one thing, but I guess in every industry there can be some type of shadiness. So if they're out there trying to get people to work the system through Untapped, then that's on them. But look at RateBeer. RateBeer does it too, and RateBeer, they post stuff in stores about, oh, this has an 88 score on RateBeer or something like that. And RateBeer is owned by one of the, well, not all fully owned, but like 30% or whatever owned by Anheuser-Busch. So they're kind of pushing stuff through them as well. Sony Huttenbier, Bavarian Lager. Ooh, Bavarian Lager, nice. Some good beer out of Bavaria for sure. I just went back to Jungle Gyms this week. You know what? I just realized I forgot to try to get the Thomas Hardy you guys always tell me about there. I forgot to go back and try to pick that up. I'll have to go back again at some point here and get one of those. So curious, with everybody kind of watching, like what are your favorite beer styles that you like to enjoy when you're drinking a beer? Are you like an IPA person? Are you a stout person? What's your favorite style? Are you burnt out by IPAs too? Like right now, I myself feel like I'm almost burnt out on IPAs, so I don't have any IPAs in the cellar right now. I got rid of all the IPAs, none in the fridge, none in the house. I'm kind of drinking all the other stuff. RateBeer, Beer Advocate, Beer Connoisseur Magazine, ratings on shelf takers. Wine is Wine Enthusiast Wine. Yeah, they all have their different stuff there for sure. But the thing is, like, some people will see something and they'll look at it and say, well, this says it's only this. Or they look on their phone like, well, it only got like 3 bottle caps on Untapped. And it's like, well, I don't want to try. It's like, You don't know why that person may have done that one. If you think you like that style or you think it's something unique you want to try, then just try it. Don't even look at your Untapped or your other stuff before you decide to buy, because that person's palate might not be the same as yours, and you may actually enjoy that beer. Like, I never pull up anything when I'm buying beer. I pretty much look at the beers that are out there, kind of get my feel about it and see what kind of grabs me about them, and then I try the different beers that way. I think people get too reliant on what other people are thinking about it, and they're missing good opportunities to try some good beer. And the perfect situation for that is when you think of going back to Natter Day, when they had a beer competition in Missouri, and everybody was blind tasted, and they chose the best new beer, and it ended up being Natter Day, and people were shocked by it. But I'm like, you go by the taste, it's kind of like you weren't expecting this beer delivered. So what if it's under Natter Day? Obviously it's a good beer that you like, and then people were kind of surprised and shocked. I'm like, don't get so reliant on labels and caught up on all of that. And breweries, there's some beers by some well-known companies that are not great beers. There's some of the bigger craft breweries that put some stuff out, and you're like, well, this just isn't good, or this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So you got to go in there looking to actually find your way around, get some idea of the style that you usually like, and then go from there. Billy says, personally, my favorite style is porter and stouts, also any IPA, lagers. That being said, I rate each beer in accordance to its style. Does it fit the style guidelines? If so, it's good, average. Yeah. There's some people who will rate your style, so as long as you know what you're doing, then that's fine. And before, because I used to not like to give ratings on videos, and then I was asked by different people to maybe give my feedback on what I thought of it, so I started including them. Because the thing is, if you don't know that rating system, I even did a video about how ratings, if you don't know the system, they're not really that valuable to you. It just didn't make as much sense. But then I say, so now when I do it, I say, well, this is my personal rating. This is what I enjoy on my personal scale. So you got to be able to go out and taste what you like and find out what you enjoy. Don't just take it from me. If it's something you want to give it a try to, then go ahead and give it a try. Foamy says, I drink more IPAs, but always pick up what's new regardless of style. And that's a good way to do it. That way you're always finding some different things out there. Whoops. Little slippery gummy worm. Billy says, I rate like average, below average, above average, spectacular in accordance with guidelines. Pour, color, clarity, body, aromatics, taste. Yeah. So when you do your thing, you probably have the different breakdown. You get a certain amount of points for the clarity, a certain amount for the aromatics, the taste, the overall feel and appeal. So I get what you're saying there. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, Billy, I think with the BJCP, I've seen two sheets that one sheet would have it on the scale to 100, but I've seen some that now have it on the scale to 50, so I guess you would just double it there. And I know that we talked about the Christmas ale a little bit ago. I'm sorry, the Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale. But has anybody else started trying any Christmas beers out there? Have you picked up any Christmas ales yet? Since they're now available. I did pick up a 6-pack of the Mad Elf. So I'm looking forward to drinking that from Trogs. Solid brewery. In my opinion, the style guidelines can help you pick your beer, pick you up a beer style you like and ones you would not. Yeah, I think if you're matching up with the style guidelines, you start to know what your palate is shaped for, so you'll know the beers you actually like, and kind of keeps you on track there. Gilbert said, I came full circle in the beer world, Love a well-made lager as much as a great IPA. Nice. Yeah, and I've appreciated a lot more of the lagers and stuff too. You can scale of 100, 250, 10.5, depends on what you're comfortable with. Oh, wait a minute. 150, 10, 5, depends on what you're comfortable with at a competition you use their form. Right, so yeah. And that's where I've seen different forms where I've seen somewhere it's 50, somewhere's 100. And they would have something where it's like, overall it might be worth, like, say, 30 points of the 100 if they're doing 100. Or appearance would be like 20. And, you know, they have different breakdowns for different categories. Fuller's 2019 Advantage Ale. Nice. Fuller's does some good stuff. I'm trying to eat these gummy worms, and my hands are just constantly getting sticky from the vodka, I think, that was used. But they are good. Definitely recommend. Keep them away from the kids, though. You don't want your kids staggering around the house. Like a vodka gummies chasing it with a Rum King, or a Rum King chasing it with vodka gummies. So anybody got any big plans here for the weekend? Anybody going out to do anything? Breweries, wineries? Anything special? That is one messy candy. Plus, homebrewing helps you understand what malts contribute, which roasts contribute what, each hops variety, what is contributed, yeast, what each strain does, as do adjuncts. Yeah, I definitely agree. And that was one of the things when I started doing the channel and started doing the blogging back in 2015. What did he say? We have been shopping all week. Help me, my wife kidnapped me. When I started doing the channel back in 2015, I got into homebrewing and doing something because I felt like when you're doing the homebrewing, it gives you a different aspect to the feel and stuff. So when you're actually out there putting stuff together, you're smelling the malts, you're working with the malts, you're working with the hops, you're finding the different yeast strains, you're trying to find out what works what. It gives you a different understanding around the beer. So anybody that does, like it, I always say, like, if you do home brewing as well, I feel like you're getting a little bit more of an extra education because you're actually getting that hands-on experience of trying to make something and being a part of it and knowing how things are supposed to work along those lines. And home brewing is pretty fun. I mean, if you're doing home brewing or if you're doing making wine, or you're making mead or whatever it is, it's a great activity. It's extra fun, extra knowledge that you're getting. And after a few weeks, you reap the rewards of it. So, yeah. And even if you don't brew, for instance, go to some of the home brew shops, smell some of the malts, smell some of the hops, get a feel of stuff, and that helps you to provide other things too, that you know what to look for. If you go to certain places and you know certain hops provide a spicy characteristic, they provide a floral characteristic or a tropical or a citrus, that helps you more understand the beer when you are breaking it down, in my opinion. But well, see, I think every beer lover should get Each hop variety, each malt roast style. Get a Chinese mesh tea, cage, Dollar Tree, etc. Hop make a tea. Same with malt smell. That's a good idea, Billy, to actually do it that way. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just adding an extra level of understanding to what goes into that beer. Speaking of beer, I've reached the end of my beer glass here, so I'm going to actually get ready to jump off. I'm going to probably grab another beer, but I'm not going to do another video on this channel. I am going to jump over to the gaming channel here around 10 or so, which is Rod J Beer Gaming. Enjoy some stuff there, get a little gaming in, relax here on Friday night. And appreciate everybody that tuned in. Foamy says recently went to South Padre Island in South Padre Island, Texas, and False Brewing. And oh, nice. So you got out to a few of the different breweries. You got to St. Padre Island Brewing and then False Brewing. The good thing about going to the breweries is you get a chance to see the operation, but also at some breweries, you're finding beers they're not actually putting out there in the marketplace, so you get to try some different and unique things. Billy says you can read about different yeast strains, also how reculturing them. They take on notes from the hops primarily, then to mild, point the malts. So you have all that stuff out there. If you don't go, there's stuff that you can read, you can pull off. It's all about kind of the education factor there. And then Billy says, cheers, guys. So cheers, everybody. I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to go get myself refreshed with another beer. I'm not sure what beer I'm going to drink next. But if you do like gaming, the Rod J Beer Gaming channel, I'm going to start gaming here in a little bit. Probably do a little Modern Warfare, unless I do a little basketball, depending. And feel free to join me over there as well. Thanks everybody that joined. Again, tonight I looked earlier at the Rum Barrel Pumking. Let me switch this camera again because of the whole glare there with the lights. And this is one, for me, my personal satisfaction, 4 out of 5. It's a solid beer from them. Just be prepared for the booziness that takes place as well. And then Billy said brewery tours are good, same as wine distillery tours. I agree. Gilbert says cheers, and cheers everybody. I look forward to catching you guys next time. As always, keep drinking those good craft beers. Remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Cheers, everybody. I will see you soon.